Hello everyone, this is the BMS team with you. Today, using the example of the 2020 Chevrolet Silverado, we will show what problem the installation of a BAJA design power aluminum bumper solves and how to do it correctly. Let's go. According to statistics, after just the first off-road trip or desert drive, the standard bumper of this vehicle starts to look like this. The stock bumper has a large cutout, and accordingly, when you start overcoming sharp obstacles, descending from a hill, or making a steep climb, the skirt of the standard bumper catches on obstacles, and as a result, everything breaks. The plastic gets damaged, the stock fog lights break, and the metal part gets damaged. Sometimes the sleeves, to the deployment of airbags, and damage to the frame rails. Now we will show you how and what solution we, the BMS company, have developed to fix this situation. Despite the fact that the front part of the vehicle consists of two parts, the lower part of the bumper itself is made of metal and is attached directly to the frame and the front plastic fascia. We still need to disassemble the entire front part. It all starts with disassembling the plastic and removing the radiator grille, along with this plastic trim. After we have removed the upper diffuser, next, we unscrew the bolts securing the radiator grille. After that, we remove the fender liners and can take off the main part of the grille. We don't need to remove the entire fender liner. It's enough to unscrew 5 screws on its front part and move it aside. After we have moved the fender liner aside, we begin the removal of the main part of the front bumper fascia. The locks on the clips have a tricky design. To release the plastic, you need to press a tab, move it aside, and only then will the clip detach the bumper. This must be done as carefully as possible to avoid damaging the bumper mounting clips. After we have removed the main front bumper fascia, we then remove the radiator grille. Followed by the rubber cover to access the upper mounting bolts of the main bumper part. We disconnect the electrical connector. This is done into steps. First, the safety latch is released, then the connector itself is pressed and removed. And screw the remaining parts of the front bumper. Lower attachment. Bumper in the crumple zone. And also the front part of the engine skid plate. Unscrew the main mounting bolts. Two bolts inside. 2 bolts on the outside. After that, remove the bumper itself. Next, we remove a few more unnecessary parts that we won't need, namely these brackets, the upper ones, and these lower brackets. We also need to remove a few more brackets, this time the side ones. side support brackets of the original bumper, as well as plastic brackets for the fender liner attachment. Well, we've removed all the unnecessary parts. Now we'll also take off the factory tow hooks. They will go back on the car later, but they need to be removed for the installation of the new bumper. This is also done very easily. Just unscrew literally the bolts and take them out. And now we'll conduct a small experiment. We often get questions like, what about the weight? How will I remove my factory bumper? It's so small and light, and install your heavy-duty one. Will my car become too heavy? Will it sag? Do I need tea? Now we'll take this bumper to the scales. Let's grab it and head to the scales. What do we see? 21.4 kilograms. It's not as light as you might think. And now we'll add everything else that won't stay on the car, because all these brackets won't stay on the car and won't be reinstalled. What do we have? And one more part. 27.6 kilograms. Well, let's round it up to 28 kilograms. There are probably about half a kilogram of bolts left. Let's remove them. And now we'll place a new bumper on the scales. It consists of two parts: the main section and the skid plate. Let's take it. The bumper is still in its packaging, so it includes the mounting hardware, accessories, and additional lighting. What do we have? 16 kilograms. Recorded. I think anyone can calculate 28 minus 16 and draw the appropriate conclusions. Alright, now we've unpacked the new bumper, which consists of the main section, a tubular aluminum frame. The front part is the skid plate, and here's the central cover. Also included with the bumper are mounting bolts, decorative bolts, a mounting plate for the license plate, and two of these 10-inch AURORA lights. Now we'll proceed with the installation of this bumper. We'll start the installation by mounting the main frame. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes the frame rails are not in the same condition as they were when they left the factory, so we have to adjust them to restore their original shape. The frame is installed directly onto the chassis and secured using the factory bolts. Also included in the kit are two additional bolts, which are needed to fully secure the bumper. Well, now we've installed the main part, the reinforced structure that connects the front section of the frame and serves as the base for mounting additional equipment. Next, everything is done, in principle, in reverse order. Now we're reassembling all the factory parts of the car. Let's go. After we've reassembled the entire front section, reinstalled the cover, put the grille back, and put everything together, we need to trim the factory fender liners because they currently extend beyond the bumper. Now we'll show you how to do this correctly. We need to create additional mounting hardware To do this, we'll unscrew one of the factory bolts, which is located under the wing flap. Loosen this bolt by about 5 millimeters. We apply the fender liner and we hit with a hammer so that a trace remains on the back side. Next, take a 6 millimeters drill and make a hole. After that, remove this bolt completely and screw it back into the new hole. But now it is no longer under the fender liner. It is outside the fender liner. Thereby, it provides additional reinforcement. Next, take a knife and carefully trim the fender liner along the contour of the bumper. The fender liner is made of fabric, so this is done very easily with a regular utility knife. As a result, you should end up with a fender liner shaped approximately like this. Well, and then we do the second side in the same way, repeating all the steps. So, after we've finished the main technical part, we move on to the wiring. To do this, we need to remove the factory wiring for the fog lights. The bumper comes with 10-inch lights like these, which are installed directly into the bumper. They will be connected to the control of the factory fog lights. Now we'll show you how to do this correctly. After we remove the wiring harness from the factory bumper, we remove the original clips from it, as we won't need them anymore, since the wiring will be routed in a completely different place. We prepared the wiring harness for installation, and now we're proceeding to install the fog lights directly into the bumper. Well, we've finished installing the additional lights, prepared the wiring, and now we'll proceed with the connection. This car did not come with factory parking sensors, so there will be just blank plugs here. On cars equipped with parking sensors, they would be installed in the same pre-designed location. To connect the new lights, we use the factory wiring and connect them to the same locations and connectors that were used for connecting the factory fog lights. However, since our lights are of a different design, we need to change the connector. To do this, we cut off the standard connectors and make new ones for the new lights. Well, here we are, approaching the end of our installation. The final touch is the installation of a 6mm aluminum skid plate, which protects against all obstacles. Well, friends, that's it. Our installation has come to an end. In this video, you saw the problem, the solution, and the result. This bumper is perfect for fans of high-speed off-roading. It's for those who love driving in the desert or participating in rallies. It doesn't support the installation of a winch, but it's very lightweight, sporty, aggressive design, and allows you to overcome very steep obstacles. If you are interested in this product, you can purchase it using the links in the description. And to stay up to date, subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for updates.